Hi there, Darla Delane here. She's CEO founder. And today I'm going to talk about one word in several different forms or how we use it and where it is. And the word is creative. So when I say creative, people think a certain thing. If I say create, they think something else. And if I say creativity, they may think something else, even though they all come from the word create. Now, if I talk about this in mindset and I say create, creative, and creativity, that gives you kind of one vision of what that is. If I talk about it in business, to create, to be creative or a creative, and creativity in business, that's a whole other thing. So this just kind of opened a whole can of worms here when I first came up with this one for this week. So let's talk about create and where it is helpful. So create is an action that every human being does. And in our world that we live in, and in our personal world we live in, my truth is that we all create a reality that we live in. We all create our world, that we are empowered to live out what we create that we want to be living, like the manifest what we want, right? Well, the create part comes from only being connected to love and appreciation. Can you create in fear? Of course you can, and you can create from that space. However, just even saying it makes it really obvious that if you're creating out of fear, it's going to be something not really awesome for anybody, including yourself. So when we really create, we want to be in this space of love and appreciation. We want to be connected to our source, to universe, God, that spiritual part of us that lets us know we are limitless, that lets us know that anything is possible. When we create from there, then we are really moving towards what it is we actually want. And that's kind of our whole point. Everything we do here is because we think it's going to make us feel better. We think it's going to make us happy or feel better than we feel right now. So we create what's going on based on, I want to feel better. But if you're coming from a place of fear and you're creating, it's going to make you feel worse. So the first step when you create is to be sure that you have done whatever work you need to do to get you over into a connected space where you're feeling appreciation and abundance, and you know that all is possible if you can believe it, you can achieve it, kind of thing. If you're in that space of where you can really believe what you've come up with, then you can move forward to having it. So that's first. So when we talk about create, then this is from this standpoint. When you talk about in business and you create, as a business owner, if you're a business owner, you created this business. If you are, maybe you run a franchise or you have a business where you do direct sales of another product, you still are creating your business using these products or from this franchise. It's still being created by you, and it was still in that vision that you had. So what a business owner does is create the business. They create the core values of the business, the mission of the business. They create the branding of the business, the messaging. All of that is what a business owner does, and they do this out of their creating. So people that tend to want to own a business enjoy the process of creating. Some of us enjoy the process of creating processes, and that I'm one of those people. I love coming up with a really efficient, productive process. And so when I take what I already see, and then I can go over here to this area of appreciating how it can be even more or better, I can create an even better process that's even more efficient, more productive. And I get my jollies on that. That's like super exciting for me to do. So different ones of us have different things we really enjoy creating. But whatever you're creating from an appreciation space, it is from that space then that you're moving forward into this kind of really having something that you want. Now, let's talk about as a creative. So looking at the word creative, some of us identify in business as a creative. Those of us that are in the arts at some point, I say us because I'm an actress, so I think of myself as a creative. And it's also one of those things that there are specific characteristics of business owners that label themselves as a creative. And sometimes we can fall back on cultural thoughts, beliefs around labels. And as a creative, I had someone say this to me the other day on a call. She was like, well, I'm a creative, so I'm not organized. Well, is that true? Are all creatives not organized? That's not really true. I'm really organized and I'm a creative. All creatives do this, all creatives do that. That's not really true. However, when someone puts creating at the forefront of what they value, now they tend to do things and tend to value the same thing. So that part is true. So as a creative, you can have a very structured and processing and systems business, but you enjoy the creative pieces of it even more. And the industries that this tends to fall in is like, of course, art and dance and music, writing, acting, anything that we think of as the arts, we call creative. But as someone that's a mortgage loan officer any less creative than someone that is an actor? No. As anyone that's doing sales, you've got to be very creative in how you say and do things so that you can get your point across. Like, that's part of it. So watch for limiting beliefs around being creative or a creative. Sometimes it's not valued financially as much as something that's more step-by-step processed systems and structures approach to things. This balance of the creative and creating with systems and structures is super important, because if you're just creating this and that and this and that for the fun of it, that's awesome. And if you want to be able to do it more, then you can be supported by systems and structures. So kind of two things for a creative to keep an eye out for is, where are the systems and structures that will really support them? And watch for any limiting beliefs, the struggling creative, the struggling arts, those kind of things. They don't need to be struggling. In a creative sense, there's a lot of other industries that this is in. I'm thinking of like nail techs. It's like there's nail technicians, and we call it technicians, that are incredible artists and very creative in that. And then they've found a space and a place to work in and can make money from that. So there are many different industries that may define themselves as creative. And be careful and watch out for when those limiting beliefs that culturally we've led to give honor to, are they really holding you back? And then the last word with this I want to talk about is creativity. And I have rarely heard this as a plus or seen this in a lot of job descriptions, right? We want someone that to have a whole lot of creativity, because sometimes we feel like we can't rein that in, and that's not true. It can be really a benefit to have a lot of creativity in any business or any position that someone on your team may have. What is important is that you're able to put that into a structure so that it can be used for whatever it is the business needs. So creativity is an awesome skill to have for any position, because there's creativity in looking for better systems and structures. There's creativity in how we may use a sales script that we're given, but we may use it in a way that really is much more efficient or more profitable. And as a business owner, that's what you're looking for. So next time you think about creating and creativity, and you're having a hard time putting it together with business, be sure to think on that one again. Look at that one again. I very seriously considered it when I was looking at my core values. Was creativity the highest core value I wanted in my business? It wasn't at the highest, but it's definitely on a level that's super important to me, because what I do, being going from mindset to systems and structures, in the process of teaching, I have to be incredibly creative on how I explain things. I need to be very creative in my marketing so I can get my point out. So it is a very important part of a position in my business. So you want to definitely be sure that you are giving it a second look and making sure, watching for any limiting beliefs you may have around it. And on the second piece to that is be sure that whatever you're creating, creativity you have, whatever is going on with that, that you've got a nice system structure to place it in so that you're actually really getting the most efficiency and productivity from whatever is being created. Till next time, this is Darla Delane. Talk to you guys soon.